So we're going to discuss today measuring on Shabbat and Yom Tov letzorech mitzvah. We know that measuring on Shabbat is asur. How about measuring letzorech mitzvah? So says the Shulchan Aruch, mutar, this is in Siman Shin Vav, Seif Zayin, mutar limdod b'Shabbat medida shel mitzvah. You can indeed measure letzorech mitzvah. Kegon limdod im yesh b'mikveh 40 seah. You want to measure a mikveh to see if the mikveh is kasher, and you want to measure to see if he has 40 seah, mutar. You can measure it on Shabbat. And on Yom Tov. Again, Chacham Obadia actually has a tshuva in Yechavedat, I believe it's in Chelek Aleph Siman Tetvav. He's discussing whether or not a person could measure matzah for Leil Pesach, and he brings from this Seif, I believe, in Shulchan Aruch in Siman Shin Vav. But the truth of the matter is, really, in Chod Yom Tov, Shulchan Aruch says it clearly that you could measure for Tzorech Mitzvah on Yom Tov as well. So the Shulchan Aruch here says you could do it Tzorech Mitzvah. They have a medida shel mitzvah, because that is considered medida shel mitzvah. Now, within the Achronim, there is a discussion as far as measurements of weight on Shabbat, because whereas we have the Shulchan Aruch over here discussing the heter of medida shel mitzvah, later on the Shulchan Aruch discusses that perhaps measurement could be asur on Shabbat. Now, there, the Shulchan Aruch is discussing measuring something on Shabbat, whether you want to cook some meat and you want to weigh out the meat to see how heavy it is, and that is not so simple. That the Shulchan Aruch does not allow, as we would expect it to be allowed based on the Shulchan Aruch over here. And the different Achronim discuss the details of this when it comes to the measurements of mitzvah. So, for instance, the Petach Hadvir, which is Rav Chaim Pantrumoli, he was in Izmir. He was one of the Rashi Rabbanim. He was the Av Betin of Turkey in his time, and he brings that really measurements, when you're measuring something, is easier than weighing something. The measurements of a weight is a little bit more chamur, but even that, says Rav Chaim Pantrumoli, it would be still mutar lesorech mitzvah. Now, this will actually give that if you want to measure, like the Or Letzion says, Rabbi Shaul, you want to measure powdered milk for kids, right? You have the bottles that they are lined purposefully to make sure how much water you have. So you have 4 ounces of water, and you have special scoops for the milk to do it exactly properly. That's considered lesorech mitzvah, and you could do that as well. And same would be for medida shel mitzvah, for someone that doesn't have necessarily enough matzah on Leil Yom Tov. So you want to measure it. Now, some people measure it from before already, and you just put it in front of them from Erev Pesach. Amazing. But if you didn't get the chance to do it, and now you want to measure it on Shabbat, you're not talking about the digital scales here. You're talking about like a scale. You have like a kazayit, you have a spoon or whatever that exactly it is a kazayit. So you want to weigh keneged that and have exact measurements. That would be mutar as well, lesorach mitzvah, not to eat too much in the beginning, then you can't eat later on when it comes to afikomen and to korech and so on and so forth. So that is something that a person could do as well this is all considered medida letzorech mitzvah. Now, we still have to speak about the measurements that could be a little more questionable. For instance, you have measuring the level of heat for someone that you want to know if they have fever or not. So if it would be just with the old thermometers, that the metal would go up and down when you put it in the mouth, fine, so that's measurements, and you're doing the sorech chole, it will be mutar. How about measurements of something that's written? You have the strips that you put on forehead, and it will tell you exactly how it lights up. It's not something that's written necessarily. It lights up and it goes back down. So Chambadi writes in Chelik Hey of Chazon Badia and on Shabbat that is not considered writing. It's there, it lights up, it goes back down right away. That's not considered writing, and that would be mutar as well. So both mitzad, the writing, you don't have an issue, and mitzad, the measurement, it's not really considered measurements either, and therefore the sorech chole, especially when someone is not feeling 100%, you want to make sure, you want to measure their temperature to know if they're doing fine, that also would be mutar. Have a wonderful day.